This is a sequence specifically designed to assist you with the management of osteoporosis, and it's specifically designed to help you build bone density for bone health. So start by coming into what's known as the hero pose. You're going to place a bolster between your legs, or a big cushion, or some yoga blocks. So make sure that your hips feel comfortable. The more stiff your hips are, the more height you're going to need. Roll up some towels or some soft cushions underneath your knees if you need to. Come to focus on your breath. So observe yourself as you sit here on your mat. Let all the distractions around start to fade, and push the lower part of your spine, your tailbone, into the bolster, into the back of the cushion. As you ground yourself in your seat, slowly draw the pelvic floor up and under, suck the belly button into the spine, and allow for the lower part of the body to feel strong and stable. Place a block behind you in preparation for postures to come next, and then start to inhale and reach up with your hands. Stretch into your fingertips, stretch up to the sky. Really feel that you extend through the spine and through the top of the head. Look up. You'll notice that your hands in your peripheral vision, you want to draw the elbows, the shoulders in line with the ears. Make sure that you don't arch your lower back. So keep drawing the pelvic floor under and up, holding that safe and stable lower spine. And then exhale and draw your hands together and push them together at the top of your head, drawing the elbows out. Open up your chest. A few deep breaths. Remember to breathe throughout your practice, focusing on extending the inhalation and exhalation as much as you can. Inhale, stretch up again with the hands, and exhale, open them out. Face towards your right hand side. Push the hands away from you and reach into your fingertips. And look behind you. Inhale. Hold the posture. Stretch into the arms as much as you can. Exhale, reach up with the hands again. Place the palms together. And exhale, open out. Push the hands away again, opening the chest towards the left hand side now. Stretch into your fingertips and make the body feel strong and stable. Remember to continue to ground your hips into the mat. Inhale, exhale, bring the hands together again. Join the palms and stretch up towards the sky. And then exhale, bring the hands behind you. Interlock your fingers in the small of your back and try and straighten your elbows and place your fist on the block behind you, allowing for the back to now bend gently. So you're coming into a gentle back bend. You'll look up towards the sky. Don't strain your neck, especially if you have neck problems. Make sure that you don't let the head flop backwards. Remember that you should take advantage of such an open chest to breathe as deeply as possible, filling the lungs to the base of the nose. Release your hands behind you, move the block out of the way, and move the bolster out the way. We'll come off the hero pose now, and from here coming into what's known as a tabletop. So stack your joints up, knees under hips, hands under shoulders. Draw the pelvic floor up and under, suck the belly button into the spine. Just steady yourself in the posture, and then inhale and stretch out with your right arm. Hold, exhale, and inhale, kick out with your left leg. So stretch into your limbs. Make sure that your back leg is nice and strong and stable, and make sure that you don't dip your left hip. Try and equalize your balance as much as you can. Lift into the straight knee. Kick with your heel like a ninja kick, as if you want to really kick somebody out the way, and stretch forward and exhale and release. Steady yourself again. Inhale, reach out with the left arm, and exhale and kick back. Begin to kick back with your right leg. The leg is nice and straight and strong. Reach through the top of the head. Make sure that you're lifting into the leg. Try and eradicate any bending in the knee, and reach forward right to the tips of your fingers. Make sure you're still breathing in the posture as well. Don't arrest the breath as you try and hold your balance, which can sometimes happen. Continue to stretch into your limbs, and then exhale and release from the posture. Bring your weight up onto your knees. Stretch your arms out in front of you and exhale and lean backwards with a straight back. So this is just building some strength around the core, the lower body region. So particularly if you have osteoporosis in the spine, the most common, you want to make sure that your core is very stable and strong. So continue to hold the breath as you lean backwards. Exhale, release from the moment, and go back into the posture with your exhalation. Stretch into your fingertips. Keep the back nice and straight. Push the tops of your feet into the mat behind you. Draw the bum cheeks together. You'll feel the slight burn in the front of the thighs. Exhale and release. Inhale, reach up. Bring your palms together. Look up towards the sky and stretch into the limb. If your knees are getting sore, you can place a little soft cushion underneath your knees. Otherwise, exhale and start to reach forwards, keeping the arms alongside the ears. Gently place a block in front of you and exhale to place your forehead on this block. You're coming into the puppy dog pose, so you want to push your bum up towards the sky. Try and get your legs at a 90-degree angle and relax your forehead. Push your forehead into the yoga block. Push your chest towards the floor, and then slide forward from here and come into the dolphin plank. Kick back with your heels, lift into the belly, lift into the legs, reach forward from the side of the hips, and then exhale, lower the body onto the mat, point the toes and come to the Sphinx pose. Push your elbows and hands into the floor, exhale, then inhale, come into the cobra. Lift up your arms, look up towards the sky, engage in the bum and lower back. Push your hands into the floor then and exhale, lift the body up and start to slide back into tabletop. Bring your block with you and slide into child pose. You place a cushion underneath your bum here if your hips are very tight. Relax your head, reach forward with the hands, and then inhale and come back up onto your knees. Stretch into your hands, join the palms together and exhale. Hands down on either side of the body. And inhale and breathe up again. Bring the palms together. And then exhale, lower the body, arms alongside the ears, back nice and straight. Reach into your fingertips. Slide the block forward enough to come back into your puppy dog pose. Bum is in the air. Relax the back. Open the chest towards the floor. Feel as though you're really stretching across the chest. And as though you're opening the hips too. And then slide forward with your block and come back into your dolphin plank. Elbows under shoulders. Reach forward from the top of the head. Kick back into the heels and knees. Exhale, lower the body and come into your Sphinx pose. Open up the chest, roll the shoulders back, push your elbows into the floor, and then inhale and lift into your cobra. Point your toes, bring the bum together, lift with your hands. Exhale, hands to the floor now. Lift the body up. Draw yourself backwards into the child's pose, bringing the block underneath your head. Stretch into your fingertips. Wait here for a moment. Take a few deep breaths and then inhale and lift up with your arms alongside your ears. Stretch up, stretch into the hands, bring the palms together, exhale and release. And then inhale and bring the palms back together. We're going to do that sequence again. Arms alongside the ears as you lower the body to the mat. Bring your yoga block forwards, thumb in the air, come into your puppy dog pose. Relax your neck and then slide forwards into your dolphin plank. Lift up your legs, kick back with the heels. Remember to lift from the core here and then lower your body into the Sphinx. Push your elbows and your hands into the mat and then come into your baby cobra. Point your toes, place your hands on the floor then again and exhale. Start to slide back into your child pose, placing the block underneath your head. Stretch into your fingertips, relax your neck entirely. Feel the support in the spine with your legs beneath you. And then inhale, move the yoga block out the way, come back into the tabletop and then transition into the dolphin pose. So to start with that, we're going to just measure that your elbows are shoulder width apart. Bring your palms together and then step back, left leg, right leg into the dolphin pose. Lift into the core, make the legs nice and strong. Remember to protect the shoulder girdle, so almost round the shoulders slightly in the position. Reach forward through the top of the head and make sure you're still breathing. Don't stop the breath here. Breathe deeply, fully. Inhale, lift the leg behind you if you can. If that's too difficult, then stay where you are. Exhale, inhale, and lift the opposite leg. Exhale, bring the knees to the floor, and then just slide back for a moment of recovery. Take a deep inhalation, and exhale. Come back to support your elbows on the floor. Come into your plank, the dolphin plank again. Reach through the top of the head. Lift the right leg. Exhale. Lift the left leg. And exhale. Hold the posture. Build that strength in the bone density. And then slide over onto your side, to your right hand side, and reach up into a side plank balance. So you can bring the top leg over in front of you, placing the foot on the floor if you need to, if it's too hard for you to hold the posture with your legs out straight. So use that if you need to. Otherwise, keep the feet together and stretch up towards the sky with that top hand. Look up towards the sky. If your neck is sore by doing that, then just look forward. Remember to lift the hip and then exhale and slowly transition back over into the dolphin plank. We're going to do the other side. So coming onto the elbow on the other side and reach up with the hands, stretch into the fingertips, reach through the top of the head, and remember you can use that top leg, bending the top knee and bringing the foot on the floor in front of you if you need to. The spine is nice and straight and you're lifting into the hips. Continue to breathe. Continue to build that strength in the body, and then exhale, come back onto your knees. And we'll take a moment break in child's pose, bringing your forehead onto the block. So you're supporting your spine here. This is like a supported forward bend. Take a few deep breaths. Inhale and then lift the head, move the block out the way. And from here we'll come back into the dolphins and lift up. Hips towards the ceiling. Try and get your heels flat on the floor if that's not possible. It's not essential. Try and straighten the legs and push the knees backwards. If your hips and your hamstrings are very tight, you won't be able to straighten your knees, and that's perfectly okay. Work towards it, gently moving the knees further back over time. The back is nice and straight. Relax your head and lift your shoulders. So try not to bunch the shoulders up. Try and lift into the hips and into the core, straightening the spine. Head is relaxed, and then inhale and lift up. The right leg, straighten into the knee. Make sure that you engage the foot right into the toes and exhale and release. And then you're going to lift up with the opposite leg. Inhale and hold it, and gently start to exhale and release. Bend your knees then, come onto the mat. And here you transition into your dolphin plank and slowly into the Sphinx. Lower yourself onto the mat. Bring your hands alongside the body. Have your palms facing downwards and your chin on the floor. We're going to go into some locust poses. So you want to engage the body as you inhale, stretching to the arms and legs, looking up towards the sky. Only the torso is on the floor. Make sure you're still breathing. So this is quite an intensive posture. You want to continue to breathe as you hold the posture, stretch into the limbs. Make sure that you don't strain the neck to look upwards, and then exhale and release. We're going to do that a second time. So take a moment to rest before you draw the hands together. Try and straighten the elbows. Bring the fists together. Inhale and lift. Draw your hands back towards the knees. So feel as though you open the chest and draw the shoulders backwards, drawing the shoulder blades together, stretching over the chest and building strength in the body. So every single muscle in the body is engaged for this posture. And you want to continue to breathe and exhale and release. Bring your hands forward, one palm on top of each other, and come into the crocodile pose. So you want to push your forehead onto your hands and round the upper back slightly, pushing the neck up towards the sky gently as you push your forehead onto your hands. Bring the legs back together again and gently come back onto your knees. Have your hands underneath your shoulders. Just stack your joints up again. And from here we're going to go into the downward dog. So lift your hips up towards the sky. Straighten into the back, relax the shoulders, draw the weight up towards the hips, draw the belly into the spine and straighten and kick into the back of the legs almost. Feel as though the legs are really strong and stable, and then bring a block to place your head on, and this supports the spine. It helps with your alignment, and it's also an adjustment that de-stresses the body. It's very calming to have that support. And then gently start to walk your feet forwards. Now remember to keep your knees bent here. Do not straighten your knees. Keep the knees bent, and gently stack your yoga blocks up so that you can rest your head on the yoga blocks with the knees bent and hold on to your elbows. So this is like a rag doll. You want to hang here for a few moments with the knees bent. Remember not to straighten the legs, so this must be a soft posture for the osteoporosis in the spine. Any forward bends with straight legs, any straining and forward bends or sort of crunching, reaching towards the toes is too much strain for the spine, so you want to be very gentle here. And gently move the blocks out the way and roll up slowly with your knees bent, vertebra by vertebra, taking your time. Eventually start straightening the knees as you begin to stand. Open up the chest. Take a deep breath as you stand. Bring your feet together. In your Tadasana, your mountain pose, feel that your weight is evenly distributed over your feet. Draw the kneecaps up. Push the bum forward a little bit. Engage the core. Open up from the solar plexus and inhale and stretch up. Stretch onto the tips of your toes. Your palms are together above you, and you're really reaching up towards the sky. Shoulders and elbows back, arms alongside the ears, stretching into the tips of your toes and the tops of your hands. Try and hold the posture, so this is very good for your stability and inner strength to hold this posture. Take your time, exhale, open the arms out, and then come back onto your heels. Come and stand in mountain pose again. Steady yourself. Pick up a block, bend your knees as you come to pick up the block and place it behind you. Keep the knees bent as you lean down. This is in preparation for a warrior one that we're going to go into now. So step forward with your right leg, step back with your left leg, and put your back heel on the block behind you. Make sure the front leg is at a 90-degree angle and open the arms out. Open up from the solar plexus and reach through the top of the head. Stretch into your fingertips. The back leg must be really strong, so push the knee upwards. And gently try and align your hips towards the front of the mat. So you're going to be drawing back your right hip and pushing forward with your left hip. And then release from the posture and come into a side stretch. So keeping your feet where they are, but taking the back foot off the back of the block. Stretch over with the top arm, with your left arm. And you can also place it on the hip if that's too difficult or strenuous on the neck to reach with the arm alongside the ear. Remember that your front elbow is resting gently on the front leg, and make sure that that front leg is still at a 90-degree angle. Draw that knee backwards in line with the ankle, so don't let the knee pop forward. Look up towards the sky, open up the chest and draw that elbow. If you have that elbow bent, draw it back behind you. And pick up the block next to you and place it on the outside of your front bent leg. We're going to go into a balance here. Gently start to kick forward, placing the block in front of you and kicking into the back leg, the lifted leg. Both knees should be straight, and gently start to reach up towards the sky. So this is the half moon pose. If this is too difficult for you to do freestanding, do it against a wall, so you'd have your back to a wall and have that extra support. Try and really find that you keep your eyes steady to steady your gaze and steady your balance. Make sure you're still breathing, and if you reach into your limbs, I find that the balance looks a lot better. And then start to bend the knee, release, exhale, come out of the posture, rock back alongside that front bent leg, and then move it to the other side because we're going to transition to the other side. Lift the body up and step forward. Inhale. Exhale, step back now with your right leg. Try and bring that right heel on the block. Bend the left knee, 90-degree angle, And straighten the back leg, stretch into the arms, reach out. Remember to try and equalize your hips. So now you'd be drawing that left hip backwards, right hip forwards. And take a few deep breaths, very empowering and energizing posture. You want to lift into the back knee, don't let the back knee bend. And then exhale, transition into the side angle posture. So you want to let that back foot come off the block, straighten the leg, and the front knee is still bent. Place your arm, your upper part of your forearm on the knee, open up the palm. Draw the bent elbow above you, backwards, open up the chest, look up towards the sky. Take a few deep breaths. Remember to draw the top hip backwards, pushing the bottom hip forward, so you're equalizing your hips all the time. And this is strengthening your hips, particularly around the hip flexors and the gluteus median. It's important to stabilize and protect your spine. Then bring your hand onto the block and ready yourself for that balance. So bend the front knee, bend and reach forward as you gently bring the body up into the balance. The half moon pose. Stretch up with the arm if you're comfortable. Open up the chest as much as you can towards the side, drawing the top hip backwards. Kick into the heel, kick into the foot or the lifted leg, straighten your knees. Remember to use the wall balance if you need to. Take a few deep breaths here, trying to stabilize your gaze and opening up your chest as much as possible. So if you close the body in this posture and don't reach, you'll find that your balance is harder. Try and boldly hold posture and then come down, release from the posture. Lift your block up and straighten your legs to look towards the front and step forward. Exhale. Place the block between your knees. Inhale and exhale, lower into the chair balance. So bring your weight onto the heels. Push your legs against that block that's between your thighs. Feel as though you're almost about to sit on a chair behind you. And remember to tuck the pelvic floor under and up, so you don't want to hyperflex in the lower part of the back. Try and straighten out the lower part of the back by drawing the belly into the spine and tucking the pelvic floor under. Open up the chest and reach forward into your hands. Inhale, come up onto the tips of your toes, stretch up, take some relief for a moment, stretch. Inhale. Come onto the tips of the toes, try and hold this posture and continue to push your knees together on the block, and then exhale, lower. Sit back on the imaginary chair, bringing your weight back onto the heels. Bring the palms together and then gently start to twist towards your right hand side, bringing the left elbow over on the outside of the right knee. Look up towards the sky. If this is too difficult for you, just stay in the straight chair posture. Inhale, exhale, go to the other side. Try and equalize the knees. Don't let the one knee fall or move in front of the other. Try and keep them balanced, and your block helps with that, so keep pushing on the block. Bring your chest forward again, stretch forward into the chair posture, and then lower yourself gently into a squat. If that transition was difficult for you, with your hips and knees being a bit stiff, place a chair or a table in front of you, or even use the wall in front of you to try and support your hands and support yourself in that transition down into the squat. Push the heel of the hands together, push the elbows out, inhale, exhale, then release out of the posture, come onto your mat, straighten the legs out into Dandasana. Place a block on each side of your hips, a little bit back from the hips. Straighten the legs out, push the heel into the floor. Lift the toes up towards your head, engage the kneecaps, draw the patella upwards, and push your calves into the mat. Straighten the legs, ground your hips into the mat. Place your hands on the blocks behind you and open up the chest. Draw the elbows backwards. Tuck the chin in slightly, reach through the top of the head. You should feel that there's a lovely straight line between the top of your head and where your big toes meet up in front of you. This may seem like a very simple posture, but it takes a while to master and to feel completely comfortable in, so take your time with it. Also builds a tremendous amount of strength if you do it properly. From here, start to lift up into a reverse tabletop, so you'll bend your knees and lift your hips up towards the sky. Relax your head, open up the chest. Your hands are now off the block. keep pushing your hips up towards the sky. The back is straight, so you don't need to worry about any back bends. If you're worried about your spine, the spine is straight. Exhale and release. Lower your hips towards the floor. Straighten the legs out again. Take your blocks behind you. And from here we're going to go into a supported reclining pose. So place the first block just below where the shoulder blades end, and then place your head on the second block behind you. Straighten the legs out and you'll feel a lovely gentle bend in the back. Your chest will push up towards the sky, and now you can gently draw your shoulders down into your mat. Push your elbows into the mat as well. So you want to enhance the opening of the chest, which is counteracting any bending or stooping in your spine. So this is very good for posture correction. And you want to take some very deep, full breaths here. So you'll really feel how, as your lungs fill, and particularly you want to fill the lower parts of your lungs. So you feel that full expansion and contraction of the lungs, and you want to follow a lovely, long, natural rhythm of the breath. Breathing in as deeply as possible as you inhale and exhale. And then after your next big exhalation, gently lift yourself off the blocks. Remember, you can stay in that posture for longer if you need to. And then move towards the front of your mat or towards a wall. So this is a supported reclining pose. And you want to gently roll over onto the side and place your legs up against a wall. So I've demonstrated here without a wall, but you want to feel as though your bum is right up against the bottom of the wall and where the wall meets the floor. And relax your legs as you let them completely rest against the wall. If your hamstrings are tight, your knees might be bent slightly, and that's fine. Open up your arms on either side of your head to frame your face, and take a few lovely deep long breaths. This is an incredibly restorative and healing and calming posture, and you can stay in it as long as you need. Just a slight variation we'll do here today is to bring your soles of your feet together and have the outer parts of your feet pushing against the wall, and then gently use your elbows to push your bent knees backwards. So you're opening up the hips, and this is also massaging and straightening the lower part of your spine. It's very good for sciatic pain relief as well. So you'll feel a sense of traction in the lower part of the spine as it flattens on the floor. And then gently roll out of the posture. Remember to stay in this leg up the wall pose for relaxation at any time. Stay for longer, I highly recommend it. And then this is now coming to the end of your practice, and you want to gently come into a Savasana or corpse pose. I recommend for supporting your spine that you put a yoga bolster or a big long cushion underneath your spine. Open the palms up towards the sky. Let the feet flop up outwards. Make sure your feet are hip width apart or further, and you're completely relaxed. Close your eyes and start to feel yourself sink into the mat. You can hold this posture for as long as you need. Follow the rhythm of your breath.